welcome to the Common Briefing Program, part of the Common Geeking Program, typically a book club podcast for geek culture. We are here to bring you the news. At the beginning of every month, we try to recap the hottest headlines in geek news for the previous month to make sure that you are aware of the most important, impactful, and interesting stories.
Speak for yourself.
For what is going to be the recap of September 2019. It's going to be a little jam-packed episode today because I am your host, Colin Ketchen, and I am joined by...
Me, Austin, your fearless reporter on the front lines. I'm back, and it's been a wild fucking ride.
Returning correspondent, Austin, thank you. Next up.
That's me, right? Yeah, that's me. Sorry. Jocelyn, yeah, hi. I'm not ever here, so I'm here now. It's great.
Now to Jocelyn for sports.
God, no. Please, no.
And then for the third month in a row, we now have our newly branded correspondent, Jeff Leavitt.
Woohoo, it's me, Jeff, your fearful reporter on the back lines. If you know what I'm saying. I'm afraid of pretty much everything. I'm here for you, for your benefit.
That's actually why I put you last, because I know that you're typically like, man, I just don't want to deal with like having to start the tone. You're always just like, no one's going to care about my shit. Bury it where no one's going to listen to it.
And let me tell you, I am sticking on brand for that time, for this episode of the podcast.
All right, so I am a bit of a sick boy today, so my voice is probably going to deteriorate throughout the show. How are the three of you doing before we jump on in?
To be honest, I had some Dominoes last night, and being faced with my own mortality, that I'm no longer quite the young lad that could metabolize that shit quite like I used to. And now I just feel awful. It's just a horrible experience.
I used to live right up the road from a Domino's, and I would get it with my neighbor all the time. And then I stopped eating Domino's for only like 6 months, and I got Domino's again. And I apparently went through like second puberty between those pizzas because the reaction was entirely different.
Yeah, I think it would have been okay if I maybe hadn't gotten the garlic butter dipping sauce, but I didn't even eat that much of it, so...
Okay, so I've gone over this with Laura Becker on a few other occasions. Garlic butter sauce is literally just garlic and butter. You just melt butter and put garlic in it.
Yeah.
So what is it about...
Dipping things in fucking butter is not going to make you feel great, Colin.
But it's going to taste delicious.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I might just have different problems than you. Austin, a little quiet down there.
I mean, everything's pretty all right. I don't know. I'm involved in a bunch of shit, and I don't know how much of it's relevant. I recently started running again because I had 3 very busy weeks where I didn't get to do any of it, so I'm kind of dead. I just ran yesterday and today in the morning times, and that's exciting. But I was also just thinking about how, like, I used to be so much better.
That's the theme of this month.
Yeah.
We could all do better.
I've been on the keto diet since the beginning of August, and the thing about keto is you don't have carbs or sugar, really.
How are you living, Colin?
It's been a shift, but the thing is, the other thing about keto is it makes you like a little weaker and tired because you don't have all the same energy you used to. Yeah. You're getting energy from a different place. So like my workout routine has gone out the fucking window, and I have lost 15 pounds by not working out and eating triple patty lettuce wraps from Five Guys like 3 times a week. So this diet is some sort of fucking voodoo that I didn't know is possible.
Oh my God.
So Austin, if you feel like not running, join me at Five Guys. We can work something out. Jocelyn, anything before we jump in?
Oh God, it's been crazy. I've been doing like so many different jobs at work because people are out, and it's great. And Cartoon Network's decided that we're gonna deliver, and then they're just gonna air the episodes that weekend, and it's
the South Park model.
Great.
And I'm
so
sure that
stressful.
you are both qualified for all of the different jobs that you have to do and being paid for all of the different jobs that you're doing.
I'm qualified, paid not so much.
Okay, so they're doing that really fun thing that jobs do that say, do this extra thing for no pay, and it's good for you.
Yeah, I keep being told I'll get Skittles at some point, and that still has yet to happen.
Oh my God.
That
they
is
can't
like
even
the
bring
worst
that promise
fucking...
through.
That's at least an analogy, right?
Yeah. All All right. With that, I think we're going to jump in and start with the news. So last month, we brought you the breaking news 2 weeks after it broke that Spider-Man was no longer a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we had a bit of a chat about
back,
how...
bitches.
Well, that's not what we had to chat about, but this month, yes, he's back. So it is just broken, I think, 2 days ago as of this recording, that Sony and Marvel have struck a deal where Disney and Sony will continue to co-produce Spider-Man, but the terms of this agreement so far are only stated to include a third Spider-Man film following up on Spider-Man Far From Home and another Avengers-style crossover film.
That's all I need.
So we are getting some more.
And it's also the case that rather than the 50% split on the profits, it's now 25-75, quote unquote, in favor of Sony.
Yes. And it's also 25% of the production costs will be done by Disney instead of nothing.
So it's basically the same deal that they proposed with the 50-50 that we talked about last time, except it's 75.
Different different percentages. And this, like, Disney and Sony haven't confirmed this, but that's kind of the word on the street. Basically, I'm kind of happy about it. It's going to definitely help me stick around a little longer because I was a little kind of down on the idea of, they created a universe I care about, but they're just going to rip out characters when it becomes inconvenient. I'm good. Yeah. But I'm interested to see what they'll do next. I don't know if you guys have any hot takes on this.
I'm excited for hopefully some closure on the story that they're running with the solo films. And it's always nice to see Tom Holland as Spider-Man and other things. So I'm pleased about that. And at least Disney's not getting quite as much as the previous deal, but, you know.
I'm interested to see which movie they put him in of the other movies, because they haven't announced any movies so far that makes sense for what he'll be in.
Actually, would they officially commit to something just with that deal, though? Or is it just kind of like a future project?
It's an open-ended, he's going to be in another Marvel MCU movie, but it's kind of like, they're waiting a bit on a lot of people, so it's kind of interesting to see when they'll put him in the movie.
Speculation, go ahead.
I was just thinking, like, isn't it also the case that, like, even the actors don't always know what movie they're in when they're filming fight scenes, and it sounds like kind of a nightmare?
That was generally the case for the last couple of years because of the insane production that was Infinity War and Endgame.
And how secret everything was.
Yeah, we're probably going to see a little bit less of that going forward, but I guess I don't know that for sure. Speculation has said, like, they might be doing Secret Wars or New Avengers, but I think some of the rumors that people have been kicking around is that we might be getting Spider-Man in the Fantastic Four movie, which I mean, I'm interested to see how that would narratively work in a way that makes sense, because when you're introducing 4 protagonists, throwing Spider-Man in there, I feel like kind of offsets the focus there.
Well, but on the other hand, nobody's been able to make a good Fantastic Four movie, so what if they're just like, well, we'll put Spider-Man in and it'll be fine.
At least if it's a bad Fantastic Four movie, it's a good Spider-Man movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or maybe that is Spider-Man 4, and that's
Spider-Man
where the 4...
in which he plays all members of the Fantastic Four.
Tom Holland is Norbit, is Reed Richards.
No. Please.
But the romance between, Sue Storm and Reed Richards still happens. It's just two Tom Hollands.
Something that struck me when I read the terms of the agreement, and something that I've seen like a couple other sites being like, we wonder if this is the case. So the whole thing where Kevin Feige is saying, like, it's cool because he can, like, cross universes because he's also part of this Sony extended universe of Marvel characters. I mean, it's likely that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is going to appear in a film with Tom Hardy's Venom, which, though I think Venom was a bad movie, I think Tom Hardy's Venom is a good character. And I would like to see those two play off of each other. I think that could be a very fun movie, but it makes me wonder if the scope of this deal is to write Tom Holland out of the MCU in a comprehensive way and then return him to Sony.
That's what I was wondering,
that's
too.
A distinct
like
possibility.
Chuck him into another universe, you mean?
I mean,
like multiverse style?
Yeah, I mean, during the whole Fallout last month, it was revealed that Kevin Feige apparently did consult on the production of Venom. So like he has more to say about the Sony universe of Marvel characters than I think a lot of people originally thought. So it's wondering if Disney wants Spider-Man so badly that they're going to relax on Sony trying to blur the lines between those universes, which Amy Pascal said years ago she wanted to do, or is this really Disney saying like, all right, just let us do what we need to do, and then you can have them. Just give us weekend visitation for like one more year.
Honestly, I think what they're going to do is they're going to try and wrap it up as much as they can, just so it's a full trilogy, but also dangle a little bit there and see how it does in the box office.
Yeah,
because
I think that makes sense.
this movie is going to heavily rely on what does the box office give them, because they're not rolling in from Endgame like they were this time. It's going to be behind Doctor Strange, and it's a really risky movie that they're already making with Doctor Strange. So it's not like a done deal, $1 billion club movie like the last one was. So that's also going to play into whether or not they want to keep him around anyway. Sony's going to see if the deal's worth it. Disney's going to see if the deal's worth it and probably decide from then. Yeah,
no, that makes sense.
There is also there's a suspicious part of me that's just expecting this to be like, oh, it's the 25 to 75, and then like in the future they'll just like slowly creep their tentacles all around any property that isn't 100% theirs. Disney, I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
So that could be a thing.
Disney wants to rule the world and own everything. They will eventually.
Yeah, we're getting there. I mean, there was also rumor that Apple was considering buying Sony Pictures, because Sony Pictures is not one of the most profitable parts of Sony as a company. Sony makes most of their money off of hardware and services. I think PlayStation is more profitable than Sony's movies at this point. And I mean,
would check out.
and Apple is with Apple TV Plus, they're getting into the TV and movie space in a big way. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but it's something that a lot of people have thrown around. But granted, the last month has been full of people trying to rationalize the loss of Spider-Man in some pretty incredible ways. So interesting conversation starters, but it might end there. I guess, I feel like there's less to say on it this time than last time. So if y'all have anything else to say.
Well, I'm surprised it happened so quickly.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed like they were going to let it stew for at least a few months more.
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting to not hear anything until another Marvel movie was coming out, and everyone's like, oh yeah, what happened with Spider-Man? Did they work it out? And then just no.
Honestly, it's likely that a lot of people had the same sort of take that Colin did, though. They're just like, yeah, I think I'm just about ready to be done here. You know, because like Spider-Man was a pretty popular part of the MCU. So, I mean, both companies could have been seeing it as like, yeah, we're kind of losing faith here a little bit.
But Sony got the bigger brunt of that than Disney did.
Yeah, but and that would make them more willing to accept those terms, because like originally people were like, Disney wants 50% of Spider-Man, but 2 days later people were like, it was a lot less than that they were asking for. But I mean, Sony is the one who they did have to deal with the brunt of it, because right around the time that news broke that Spider-Man was out, they did like the re-release of Far From Home with the extra footage, and like nobody went to see it.
Also, why would I want to see like 6 extra minutes when it's probably nothing important?
What was it? Because people were disappointed when they did that with
Endgame.
Yeah, well, the thing with, I think what it was, and I didn't see it myself, but my understanding is that there was a lot of, if you remember, a lot of stuff in the original Spider-Man Far From Home trailers that was not in the movie. Like, Peter Parker here to pick up a passport, please. Like, a lot of that stuff about him. And then him with the cops in the beginning, they like cut out most of his time in New York, so I guess a lot of that stuff got cut back in. And so even so, the Endgame re-release did like help push their box office up a little bit, and with Spider-Man it did not.
Well, yeah,
so like that's numbers right there that Sony's already seeing the impact.
What I'm saying is, like, people were like, oh, that's at least a little bit exciting, they're adding more, stuff to Endgame. And then when they saw it, a bunch of people were complaining, like, this is like half finished CGI garbage. And so I'm saying, like, then when they did the second time with Far From Home, then people might have been like, well, I'm not gonna fucking fall for that shit again.
Well, and it's also it's like 6 extra minutes. I've already seen it, and at this point I know he's not gonna be coming back. I don't think it had as much impact on people not going to see it, the extended version in theaters. I think there was just a lot of Twitter hate.
I think a lot of Twitter hate. I think that Sony would also read that, though, as, oh, we're already starting to see the impact is going to be, because not only were all the boycott calls and the hashtags and everyone blaming everybody, But I mean, if you're Amy Pascal trying to go to your boss and saying like, "Hey, everything's gonna be fine with this movie," and then the fucking studio heads who don't know shit about what is actually going on with the movie are just looking at the money and saying, "Fix this."
I mean, it made way more money than they were probably expecting.
It did, but
so I don't think the little extra bump, like that's the thing, they were just trying to make more money off of something that was already making money. So for them, that wasn't going to be a loss.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah. I with the short time frame that's happened in between the two announcements, though, it also seems like maybe they like tentatively thought, okay, well, maybe we don't have a deal right now. Let's float this as news out to the public and then see if the response makes it sound like there's a demand for more Spider-Man stuff. And obviously there was.
Oh, yeah, they were totally doing open negotiations. They were trying to see what everyone else wanted.
Yeah, I'm just sad that we didn't get the footage of Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal in a courtroom over a custody battle and Tom Holland crying in the front row saying, "Why is this happening to me?" All right, so with that, I think we're going to hop off the Spidey train from Spider-Man 2, and we are going to, which is actually shot in Chicago, not Manhattan, but we are going to jump into the regular news cycle. That's not what that means.
Yeah,
There are four of us this week, so do you guys? I have some stuff to say, but if I talk, everyone's gonna get a little less time to talk. So I don't know if any.
You
of
mean
you
you want
guys...
to cram yours into the end, so you have a deadline?
That's pretty much my Twitter bio. So the whole thing.
No.
If y'all want a little bit more time, like I can give that to you. It's fine. I'm gonna defer to you guys if you have had enough of me talking already.
I mean, okay, so one of my things is going to take not very much time at all, and the other is kind of a niche for this group, so I don't have to take up much time, although I can talk about my second topic for a fucking while.
Yeah, after the Great Depression, I know how long you can stretch out a topic. Yeah, go ahead. What's the big thing?
Okay, the thing that more of you guys might care about at all is that it was September 5th, guys. Banjo-Kazooie's in Smash now. He's fun, whatever. Sans Undertale is in Smash. And we have Megalovania in the fucking
Wait, what is this?
Music.
Super Smash.
Smash Ultimate.
But who is in it?
Okay, so you know how you can make Mii characters?
Yes.
You can give them different outfits and stuff. They released an outfit set that you can buy for 75 cents, which is Sans, a character from the RPG hit Undertale.
Sans is a character that like a lot of people wanted to be actually like in the game as a playable character, but it was like kind of a joke because he wouldn't really have
much to do.
Yeah, and he's like more of a meme than an actual like thing that people were clamoring for.
Right.
But he's in there, which is super fun, and apparently because Toby Fox, like the guy who sort of led Undertale happening, it's his baby. He's done. He's also he was able to do the music design for the Smash version of Megalovania, the famous song there from that game, and also he's working on the music for a new Nintendo RPG called Little Town Hero, which is supposed to come out in October. So that's fun. He got to play Smash with Sakurai at Sakurai's house, and apparently he won a lot. But also, Sans Undertale and Smash. It's more exciting than Banjo-Kazooie for a lot of people, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
The cosmetic of this character
had quite a bit of support too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but like Banjo-Kazooie is a playable character with its own moveset. Are you sure that like we're getting a stronger reaction to this cosmetic item?
Yes. Oh my god.
People.
Well,
okay.
If memes for nothing
Jocelyn
else.
coming in hot.
No, literally,
Okay.
I've never seen people more excited about a character at my work than about Sans Undertale. And like,
I also have seen like
we have tournaments at work.
Fair enough.
Like people are excited, even though it's just like the Mii character. It's just like the music is really intense and really fun. So it's just like, yes, intense battle. We're going to kill you with our really dumb character. It's great.
Austin, so you're right. That didn't take much time. What's your other thing?
Oh, my other thing is that this is partially personal experience stuff that I can so this weekend was the pre-release event for the new Magic the Gathering set called Throne of Eldraine.
Yep,
And
we're going to be here a while.
This might be a fun thing for more people than just me, because this set it has like some excellent flavor and mechanical stuff going on, because it's set in like this Arthurian legend / general European fairy tale type of setting.
General European.
And it has so one, a lot of people have been calling it the Shrek set.
Cool.
Guys, we need to hang up now before Matt Canavan gets on the call.
No.
Matt comes on. Shrek? What? Who said Shrek?
2, it has a lot of overt references to Monty Python's Holy Grail.
Yes.
And like not just because it's like, oh, they were both about King Arthur, so but like no, the character, the creature that's supposed to represent like the King Arthur character has like almost exactly the same sort of costume as King Arthur in Monty Python.
That's great.
And there's a Black Knight card which comes into play. It has mechanics that represent it coming into play with 4 limbs and losing the limbs as it fights.
Yes.
Which is super fun.
That's very good.
You're just fucking chock full of memes this month, aren't you?
Yeah, no, it's so good. And then there's also other really good stuff. Like there's a fucking there's a gingerbread man that like it runs really fast, and so it has this mechanic that's haste, which is just it can do stuff as soon as it hits the field. As soon as you play it, it can attack and stuff. Most things can't, but it also has this ability that you can make it so that it can't be blocked by your opponent except by things that have haste, because it can't be caught unless you're super fast, because it's the gingerbread man. And they have just like a bunch of really good little mechanical
very good
things that translate the stories into the game really
so for the
smoothly.
first time ever, Magic is making an attempt to draw in some casuals.
I guess. I don't know. I think it's mostly just like it's a super fun concept, and it's really it's also like the power level of this set is pretty wild for for other reasons that I don't need to get into, but it's like it seems like it's giving a lot of fun toys to people who play like the modern format and stuff, like so using older cards that are more powerful, and shit's wild and games can end in like 4 turns because everything's broken as shit. But it seems like the standard format is still going to be super fun, and it's just a lot of toys to play with. That's all.
All right.
Cool.
Very cool. I don't play Magic. I'm probably going to look up and read through some of those cards. That actually sounds like a very fun time. All right, shifting over. And now to Jocelyn for sports.
Oh my god, guys. There's a great anime by Studio Trigger that is in theaters right now. It's not sports.
Don't worry, I've got some sports.
But it involves firefighters. So it's great.
You're not drawing any sort of connection.
I know, I'm not.
Not sports,
not
but
at
it's
all.
got firefighters.
Hey, we're the
got
news.
firefighters.
People
There
talk
are,
about
like,
firefighters
firefighting
on the news.
competitions.
It's fine.
Yeah, not in the football segment. What's this about?
Okay. So Promare, it's the new Studio Trigger movie. It came out in America, I think a week and a half ago, maybe 2.
Hey, Sophie, you want to fucking not just throw up on my floor, you piece of shit?
highest grossing movie in the U.S.
Fucking
for one day.
Oh shit.
Which is crazy
idea.
for an anime
for an
movie.
anime film.
Because
That's
it was released on like that like special ticketing thing, whatever it's called, the Fathom events.
Fathom, yeah.
And so
I
for it to
remember
be
those.
number 3 highest grossing in a day is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild.
And it's
Especially
doing
because it's an original. It's not
Yeah.
like connected
it's
to
not
the show
connected
that's
to
popular.
anything. It's a one-off movie, and it's glorious. It's the prettiest color palette for a film that I've seen, second to Spider-Verse. Like it's gorgeous.
About to say, you better watch it.
No, and so it's doing so well in theaters that they've extended it another week, I think.
Nice.
And so the entire month of September, you've been able to see Promare in theaters in select locations. I think Buffalo is the closest one for you guys, or New York City, but it is so good, and you guys should all watch it. The music, amazing. Visuals, fantastic.
What's the plot of this thing? What's the premise?
The premise,
Like, pitch it to me.
the concept is fire. That's what. Yeah.
Okay. I've watched The Last Airbender, so.
Okay, so you're halfway there.
All right.
Basically, there's this event that happened 30 years ago from the time the movie takes place, where random people on the Earth started shooting fire out of their bodies, and they can kind of control it. It's and so like they end up calling these people the Burnish for some reason. That's like the name that they give them, and they start persecuting these people.
It's a pretty apt name.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say for some reason. That's a pretty
it's just
spot
a
on
weird,
name.
like, yeah, they're the Burnish. It's a weird name.
Actually, no, wait, hold on. Keep going. I gotta look something up.
Okay, and so they start persecuting these people because once it happens the first time, they can kind of control the flames, and they want to keep burning stuff on fire, but that's a whole other thing. And so they're being persecuted, and like the police are coming and taking everyone, and it's no good. It's kind of Holocaust-esque. And they're just people too, and they're trying to prove that they're people too. And the firefighters are trying to put out all of these fires with awesome mech gear. And I can't explain more because it's one of those things that you really have to see the plot evolve.
It is more than the sum of its parts.
Yes.
And
okay, there's just so many great moments.
So you said the word burnish, and I think my mind did what the translators for this film did and said, burnish. That makes sense. But upon really thinking about what that means, I was like, wait, burnish means, and I have it in front of me, to polish something, especially metal, by rubbing. So where did that fire come from, you perverts?
Man, that adds so many levels to things.
Yeah, it's a strange one. When you said it's been the third highest grossing movie in America for one day, that just makes me think of how the Adventure Zone graphic novels by the McElroys are New York Times bestsellers for 1 week and then drop off because the fan base is so big, and then everyone else is like, I don't give a shit about this book.
Yeah.
Oh, that is very cool. But that long in Fathom is weird. I think I've seen 2 Fathom events ever, and
that's a weird thing. Is it started in Fathom and did 2 days in Fathom, and then G Kids, which is one of the companies that helped make it, the dub they put out separately in Regal Cinemas just on their own, and then they also ended up putting the sub in most AMCs, and so that's but it only had a Fathom event for 2 days, and then it had a real actual release after that.
It was very cool.
Yeah, it's really crazy because that studio actually works with a couple of people at my office that I work really closely with, and I did not know that they worked on it until I saw their names in the credits, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Okay.
I know you.
This is a journalistically integral program. You need to disclose any conflicts of interest when promoting material.
Hey,
for what it's worth, I can't find any theater showings anymore in where I am.
They were very limited on the East Coast, and it made me sad.
Oh yeah, but the worst part is there was one that started an hour ago.
Oh no!
Yeah, so that was the last one that I could find.
Oh darn! I guess there just aren't as many weebs on the East Coast. That's not true. Nope, that's just not true. All right, Jeffrey, what boring, unrelatable news have you picked this month?
We've got some sports. All right,
sports.
Yeah, some real high class sports. This is going to be a real short segment, maybe even a couple sentences. So my son, my boy, after 20 years of trying hard, has finally won the championship in the sport that he is a part of. Ash Ketchum has won his first Pokemon League, and
hold the phone.
Oh, you didn't know?
Yeah, I don't know shit about Pokemon. My last name is Ketchen, so I've been told about Ash for a very long time. You're telling me for the 20 years that I've had to deal with this shit, he didn't even fucking win?
No, for the 20 years that he has been 10 years old, he has not won a Pokemon League championship until very recently in the
I feel like I've suffered for nothing.
series.
What's happening?
Yeah, so that was a thing. And for a while, a few people were speculating that maybe that meant that they were going to finally move on from Ash and do a different show. But no, they released a new design for the next series that's going to be in the the Galar region for Sword and Shield.
So excited.
So that's a thing. It's a good looking design. I was a little bit, it's pretty predictable, but I was a little bit disappointed that they decided to stick with Ash because it would be nice to just fucking start a new canon of the Pokemon shows and maybe actually write a good show. The shows that exist are good for children, but really
write
not
a good show
for anyone else.
Crazy.
No, it really is just a toy commercial though.
Yeah.
So is the Lego movie, but that shit will make you cry.
Yeah, but that wasn't just a toy commercial. Someone wrote a good movie for that is what I'm saying.
No, they wrote a good toy commercial.
Yeah, but a thing being a commercial does not necessarily make it there's been good Transformers series too.
Yeah.
But then there's the ones that are
we had an
well-written.
episode literally about this, so I agree with you.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying there's a like, regardless if it's all an advertisement, there's things that are like written with care and things are written because a company told them to be written. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure someone writing the Pokemon series cares about it, but it's like,
They're probably their hands are probably tied on what they can really do.
Yeah, it's like none of the people in the show act like people. You know, they all act like, what children think that adults act like. You know.
I mean,
but that's all I really have to say about that. And then, I mean, for my other story, which is also going to be quite short because there have not been a significant amount of developments, but we're gonna fucking go back to everyone's favorite segment, the Chaos Bringer watch of 2019.
Jocelyn and I look very confused and feel very left out.
Okay, well, you will not once I elaborate. So the Chaos Bringer is another name for Unicron, Colin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jocelyn, in case you have not listened to the last 2 episodes, I have been kind of watching the progress of a sort of unprecedented crowd-funded Transformer toy of Unicron.
I did know about this.
Yeah, so it's going to be the biggest transformable official, toy by Hasbro. It is, I don't even remember, over 27 inches tall and weighs like 19 pounds, which is fucking crazy. And it originally had its backer goal of 8,000 to be finished on August 31st. In the last week, it sprung up a lot, but Hasbro apparently was thinking they weren't going to do it, so they extended the deadline to October 6th. And it hasn't moved much since then. It's now at 5,747 backers. I kind of want 2 more to hop on there, so it's almost the exact same as the fucking price, which is $574.99. The one update to the story that I thought we might be able to get at least a short amount of mileage about is so I don't think I talked about it last time. I think that the announcement of this might have been in August, or it was a few days after, so I guess it was early September. A third-party company, so there's a pretty big market for third-party Transformers, just like unofficial products that are kind of more high-end and more expensive.
Shapeshifters?
Yeah, Zeta Toys, well, not like knockoffs. They're distinguished from knockoffs, but the third-party company Zeta Toys announced that they were doing their own Unicron, which was not going to be nearly as big. But it was a lot cheaper, and it also had like a lot of detail. And in the middle of the month of September, it was pretty much shut down, which is like, I know, like, since it is like, basically a unlicensed product that is, using things that are not quite trademarked, but close enough to have legal problems, it might not sound like that's that big a deal, but the third-party Transformer scene is like pretty thriving and uninterrupted by Hasbro for the most part. So it was a little bit, again, unprecedented for Hasbro to like step in and intervene on that.
Yeah, that reminds me of several years ago when there was going to be this pretty like high-quality Star Trek fan film, and it was around the time that JJ's second Star Trek movie was coming out. And like CBS and Paramount have never made a big stink about Star Trek fan films, but all of a sudden they did. And everyone's like, why are you suddenly freaking out? And now we're in a Star Trek renaissance, and I'm like, oh, I see. You wanted to protect. Yep. Okay, I get it. This makes sense.
And with this, people are thinking like, oh, they're significantly worried about like it taking away from the backer count, because like people were like, oh, I just don't have space for that huge thing in my collection, but this is providing me with a different, a cheaper, like equally, or if not equally close to as highly detailed, and also like a smaller thing to like fill that hole in my collection.
That's literally what I just watched right before this, the most recent episode of South Park, the new season premiere, and like Stan's dad is still running a weed farm, and everyone starts growing their own weed, and
South
he's
Park
just
was
like, it's like, I can't have people home growing shit, so he's trying to like lobby people and get companies to help him legalize home growing, and then he blows up their yards and kills them.
Perfect.
Like I think people should be able to sort of do what they want to do. I may not patronize off-brand and fanfic stuff, but like you don't have to stop them. I understand that legally you need to proactively fight to preserve your trademarks. But I mean, Bethesda does that with everything in the world.
It wasn't even like a trademark thing, because like when they release a third-party product, they always give it a different name, even if it's clear who the character is supposed to be. And like I said, usually they don't really, do anything about it. A lot of the time, the third-party market fills holes that like Hasbro would never do, like really niche comic characters that, wouldn't mean things to, most of the kids who watch the shows and stuff like that. So usually, they do a lot of like things that are more parallel to that like Hasbro does do, but like usually it's not really a problem because the third-party market is like usually a lot more expensive than the official, Hasbro product, so it usually isn't really an issue, but I don't know. It's an interesting change of pace. It's not a huge development, and it's kind of quieted down since that was a thing. But
but I have gotten strangely invested in the tale of Unicron that you spun for me over your journey to being a correspondent on this program.
Right.
Cool. I do not have a ton to talk about. Some games have come out that I like. Surge 2 came out, which is a Souls-like sci-fi game that I've really been enjoying. The first game has a bug that makes it so I can't really beat the game, and I was just like, sequel's out. I'll just do that. I got to the last boss, but the game crashes when you try to manage your inventory. Like, it crashes my whole Xbox. And yeah,
great.
It's a problem that it has on the One X, and I think it's a graphics-related issue that like was never fixed. And I'm like, I really shouldn't give these people my money because they haven't fixed this problem, but I did, and I bought the new Surge, and it's fun. It's a little more open and flexible. It's making me actually considering finally going and playing like Dark Souls Remastered, because I've been playing a few more games that are Souls-like in some regard. Anyway, that's just, Surge 2 is out. It's good. It's sci-fi. It's brutally difficult, but not quite as hard as the first game. The main thing I want to talk about actually is Apple Arcade. So Apple had their big event this past month, and they announced the new phones, which are nice, and they announced their new services pricing. They announced Apple TV Plus, their streaming service, which apparently people working on the service are calling it boring NBC, and I'm like, that's a bad start.
Great.
Yeah,
but
it's not.
So I'm interested in the Ron Moore stuff, because Ron Moore did Deep Space Nine and Battlestar Galactica, so he can do no wrong in my book. But the Apple Arcade is a $5 a month subscription service where there are 50 games on iOS, iPadOS, and tvOS that you can download and play. And I don't think you have the option to buy them separately. I think it is only available on Apple's platforms via Apple Arcade. Some of these games are available elsewhere. But it's like a free 1-month trial and like $5 after that. And I was like, I play a lot of games, and I've never found mobile games that really stick with me. With mobile games, I'm always kind of looking for games that replicate a console experience. And I've actually been finding some games that I really like. First one I want to plug is Cards of Darkness, created by Pendleton Ward. For those of you who know who he is. Yeah, so it has that very Adventure Time looking style to it. Cards of Darkness, it's kind of like a weird dungeon puzzle game where you have a grid of cards of stacks of cards, and cards have effects. You basically need to draw the cards to make a path to the other side of the grid. And each card will either heal you or hurt you or give you a weapon, and it's just like little math puzzles. They're always randomly rolled, so sometimes it feels like, oh, I could not have won that. But it has been a charming, challenging, fun little game. Like, I have to put serious thought into playing it, and It's super rewarding. Oceanhorn 2, a lot better than Oceanhorn 1 because it's not a top-down game. It's a full-on Breath of the Wild ripoff, and it's actually pretty fun now that I can use my Xbox controller on my iPad and my Apple TV. And it's, like, surprisingly large and high quality and entertaining. And lots of other small puzzle games, adventure games, a new Rayman, a new Frogger, all of which are sort of pared down a bit, but like if you have anything Apple or iOS that can play these, like a 1-month free trial, you're probably going to find something in here that you like. I'm really taken aback by like the quality of this offering, especially as a proponent of Game Pass on Xbox, because I subscribe to Microsoft's gaming thing as well, where they're like, just have all our games, it's fine. And I'm like, I'd rather do that than pay $60. And I think that now with two major successes in sort of like Netflix style bundled gaming services, we are going to see a pivot in the video gaming industry, which can be good for consumers in terms of pricing, but it definitely gets back to the problems that digital games has, which is like, where does ownership begin and end? How does DRM factor into this? Things like that. So I think that that's an interesting precedent.
Oh, that's probably less of a problem for people who are doing this sort of thing on console or like through Apple TV. I can see this being more of a problem for PC players because like you're gonna have issues with the ability to apply mods and stuff. I imagine for some of these subscriptions.
Yeah, which doesn't even have to be that way because like Bethesda is just like, hey, mod anything you want all the time ever, and they still make a fuck ton of money off of it. Like there are models that work.
But on the other hand, if Apple expands this sort of thing, I cannot see Apple allowing any sort of modifications.
No,
I
definitely.
I mean, it also sounds like it might just be an issue for like casual people who only want to get a game every once in a while, rather than, you know, like it being worth it to you know, dole out a subscription service.
I guess as someone who spends a lot of money on video games, I have a hard time aligning with that mentality. Well, no, the thing I'm saying is I have a pretty broad awareness of the prices of games, and the prices of these services is like, no matter how you slice it, if Jeff, you're like, I want to play Gears of War 5. I don't know why. Who knows? Jeff wants to play Gears of War 5.
Sure, it's what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. $10 a month for 6 months. That is the cost of buying the game outright. If you play that game for 6 months straight, I feel like for casuals, it might actually be more flexible. I don't know. I'm having a hard time thinking of games where you would actually lose money on a subscription service like this, and the answer is if the services stagnate and they don't put new stuff on there, then always. But
yeah, I mean, but when you write out the numbers like that, it makes perfect sense, but that doesn't change the way people can, you know, like will see subscription service versus buying it once, you know what I mean? The casual person who's just interested in getting a game every once in a while will be like, I don't want all that other shit, why should I be paying for that? Even if they don't think about the fact that like it will be basically free stuff as long as you cancel your subscription by the right time.
It's very much like that. Hey, you want to watch this one cable channel? Cool, you get another 200. Isn't that a good deal?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. No, that makes that definitely.
How many cooking shows do you actually want to watch?
All of them.
Nope.
Not all
simultaneously.
Yes.
There's no other way
I need to hear Alton Brown at all times.
My dishes may not come out very well, but they have a lot of ingredients in them.
No. So Microsoft's thing with Game Pass, Microsoft is basically adopting the mantra for Xbox. Do whatever the fuck you want. They're putting all their shit everywhere. You can buy it however you want. I am. We talked about this like several months ago. Ryan, Laura, and I on a briefing program talking about what is now Google Stadia, where it's like when Google piloted Stadia, they had Assassin's Creed Odyssey on there, which was brand new at the time, like huge AAA, massive, and amazing game, like very good game, where you can stream it to your PC. And Ryan was pointing out, like, yeah, Ubisoft is like gets really hard over DRM, so they're looking at this as a way to like really lock down access to this stuff. So we have people like Microsoft who are generally being a bit more flexible, and then we have the Apples and the Ubisofts, which are probably going to push this in a different direction. I don't know. I'm a little concerned about that side of it, but for now, I'm enjoying Skate City on my iPhone, but not on my Apple TV because the Bluetooth delay on the controller is impossible to deal with. Great. Back to you.
Perfect.
Nope, it's me. It's back to me. So we're going to jump into the ratings now. So the way that we typically try to wrap this up after our little news roundtable here, we try to pick a top story. We want to figure out which of these stories is the most maybe of the biggest import to those of us listening. And last month, we kind of gave it to Spider-Man and picked a runner-up. I feel like Spider-Man's gotten too much of the spotlight. I don't want to put this family drama on the pedestal again, even though we did that for 10 minutes already. Yeah. So I just want to go around the horn, same order that we presented in, and I want you to pitch which of these stories you think is the most important, and we'll try to narrow it down from there. Austin, what do you think is maybe the thing that we should put on the front page of this episode?
I mean, so there are three things that I'm thinking between, and one of them is the success of the Promare release, because that'd be super cool if we could get more projects like that happening instead of like a lot of shitty isekai anime happening.
Oh my god, yeah.
So that'd be cool.
I know what
but
that
then also, I
means.
think that your stuff about the Apple games is probably going to turn out to be like pretty important going forward in the future with other stuff. So that's probably something. But also, like, I just want to have Sans be the one.
Do it for the meme.
So, yeah, I can wait a minute. I'll just like roll a die. This is what we can do in the newsroom here. We can just like decide. 1, 2 is Promare, 3, 4 is Apple, 5, 6 is Sans. 5, Sans.
A likely story. Show us the die.
I can show you. It's how do I do this?
Yeah, Austin just moved the record of his die to a highly classified server that is
Oh my
typically not
God.
where this information goes. I need to see that.
Yeah.
I hear he does this with die rolls all the time while playing D&D. All right, Jocelyn.
Actually, I had lost my
Not
dice
Jocelyn.
until recently, so I had to use a digital one, which was very bad. So there we go. Does that?
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
fine.
after all that time you had to change it to the right number.
Movie magic.
How would my arms be over there and my? We just have a record of these videos.
It's
God.
okay. I mean, if Skype was working, we would also have it on subtitle. So, not an exact transcript, but a rough
It'd be
copy.
close, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So,
Okay.
Jocelyn, what is your vote?
My vote. Oh god. The video game thing is really, really important, but also Ash finally fucking won after 20 years.
This is very emblematic of the climate in America right now. Like, yes, this is important, but I don't give a shit, and this is more fun.
Yes. We're all about the escapism here, Colin.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna give it to the Apple video game circuit at this time.
All right. Jeffrey.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I don't really care about the Apple thing. The anime movie sounds cool, but maybe not that important. I've never played Undertale, so Sans is like not that big a deal for me.
Jeff is just as apathetic in his votes as he is in his stories. Nobody cares about this, and I don't care
I
about
wholeheartedly think that Spider-Man was still the most important thing that happened this
All right.
month.
Yeah.
That's where I'm sitting.
So,
Yeah.
Three-way tiebreaker.
Okay, so here's the thing is while I do think the Apple thing is a big deal in terms of implications, it's not the first, like it's not really changing a lot. I think it's a continuation of a larger conversation.
That's very true.
But it's a good service. I'm enjoying it. Sans, I really don't have any.
You don't have a hot take on that.
I haven't been sold on this as a concept.
It's so good.
And now I am thoroughly averse to most anime. There have been some exceptions, but I do think that this is where my vote is going because the movie industry, this is a record low box office year. I'm not like lowest ever, but like in terms of the downward trend, even though we had the highest grossing movie in history this year, not adjusted for inflation, we are having overall fewer people going to the movie and spending less money on their movie tickets. And a lot of people are questioning the polarization of the movie landscape where all we have is big budget movies in theaters that you spend $20 to see, and all the actual like thoughtful art movies are relegated to streaming services and buried in piles of content. So I'm actually kind of impressed and interested in the idea that something like a Fathom event can actually gain some ground, and I don't think it's going to have a lasting impact, but I think it should be paid attention to as we figure out what the movie industry needs to be. It's what James Cameron said about Endgame. It's like, well, it's just good to know people are going to still see movies, like at all. Like that's a good thing. So
Now, before you land at this point, let's consider the rotisserie chicken. That's all I got for that joke.
Okay, cool.
Keep
I mean,
going.
that's. I guess stick around for post credits, audience, if you care very much about what that joke meant. So, yeah. Although I'm not thrilled with the pitch of the content itself, I think the circumstances surrounding the movie whose name I forgot are actually pretty important.
And I do have to say Promare. Yeah.
Promare?
Promare.
One
Promare. That's what I
Yeah,
said.
yeah. It's one of those like
I don't know if
movies
you're wrong.
that is hard to explain.
No one was correcting you.
I know. No one was correcting.
I thought they were.
No.
Promare? Promare.
Let's just say it 30 times so everyone remembers and buys it on DVD.
And then it's gonna to sound like you're a Pokemon.
Yeah. That's great.
It all comes back.
Cool. All right, man. What a fucking month where I picked the tiebreaker in favor of an anime over Spider-Man and Smash Bros. That's
Yeah.
I'm
It was a little bit of a light news month, not gonna lie.
It
for
really
sure.
was.
Yeah. I think a lot of small things, but we're gonna get some more soon because over this next month we've got Apex and Destiny getting big updates. What is it?
Also,
By
Overwatch did just get
far-
a big update that I keep hearing
yeah.
about, but I don't give a shit. So
Yeah.
Also,
I
by
played a bit
far,
with Ryan.
most importantly, October will hopefully be the resolution to the ongoing Unicron saga. And then I will be allowed to not be on this podcast for a little while.
One
Oh,
of
and
the-
the Super Mario Kart app game came out
Oh
too.
yeah, that's another bad thing. It's $5 a month just to get all the features in one game of Mario Kart, or you could spend $5 a month and get 50 games on Apple Arcade.
Wait, I don't
So
spend
it's
any money, and I can do, well, not everything, but...
Yeah, you can't get it's if you want to get to the 200cc's race in Mario Kart Tour,
Yeah.
you need to pay $5 a month. So to get the
That's
fastest races, you have to play more. So another instance of
Great.
Nintendo not really understanding how to monetize mobile games in consumer-friendly ways. But I think that about wraps it up. I assume we'll probably have some more hard-hitting stuff next month, but for this month, Promare is going to be the top story of the month. Check it out, or just Google it and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I've been Colin Ketchen, your host and lead anchor for this recap of the geek news for September 2019. You can find me online at SonicColinK on most platforms, including now Instagram. It's mostly pictures of my cats, and I have 3 of them, so it's a lot of cats. Next up, Austin.
I'm still not on social media with a account that I
He's
want
off
to give
the grid.
people. So yeah,
Don't.
Toodles, everybody. I might do them someday, but not today.
Not today, Zerg.
I'm Jocelyn. Watch Mau Mau, Heroes of Pure Heart, 10 a.m. on Saturdays on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, this
That's
is
where you can find Jocelyn.
That's where you
That-
can find me.
She's not a
she
real
expresses
person,
herself
she's a cartoon character.
solely through her art.
Yes. You can probably find me on Twitter at JOC_Barkenhagen. I'm not spelling out that part.
It's a
But you
guessing
did
game.
spell out JOC.
Yeah, because it's not
I
my full
think
first name.
I think as a fun sort of social experiment, I'm going to register Twitter accounts with every different possible spelling of Barkenhagen
Goodness.
and see
And
which
see
one
which
gets the
ones
most
get the
follows.
most hits, yeah.
Probably the me one.
Okay.
The one with actual content on it?
Yeah.
Oh no, there will be content on the other ones.
Oh, you're just gonna get me fired from Cartoon Network. This will be fine.
No, I'll say no. See, if spelling doesn't match, go somewhere else. And lastly,
And lastly, I have been Jeff Leavitt. You can find me on Instagram at Things I Wish Existed. There's a dot between each word. I put up art stuff there.
yeah,
That's
very
cool.
As far as this goes, our website is commongeekingprogram.com. We also have 2 other podcasts that actually are pretty different from this. We have How You Doing, which is myself and Laura trying to stay friends from a long distance, and it's just sort of more casual chats without a focus. But they're very funny. And then we have Dice Populi, which is just so much work. It is just a lot of work. It's a tabletop role-playing game where we rotate out dungeon masters. We're in the middle of a second adventure. The episode that came out this week is a fucking game-changing doozy. I was having an emotionally hard time just editing it, so we're going to see how that comes out. But that's all at commongeekingprogram.com, dicepopuli.com. And a bit of a spoiler for How You Doing, the domain that we had to land on was podfriend.pizza, so there's that. You can hear that upcoming story this Monday on a new episode of How You Doing, where we try to figure out SEO. That's it. I guess we have another one of these next month. Common Geeking Program is usually first and third Friday of the month. Presumably, we will have a book club episode up by Jeff, because his name is Jeff, about 2 weeks from today.
I thought you were telling me to... I thought you were saying goodbye to me, and I was like, just me? Am I getting kicked out of the club?
Yes.
I know my stories aren't that good.
So in 2 weeks, we'll be back with another episode, and then at the beginning of the next month, we'll have a recap for the Geek News of October, which is shaping up to be a big one. Any other last words before we go off the air?
Wait a minute. Well, I guess this can wait until we're off the air, so yeah.
Cool. Great.
Nah, it's
Love
chill.
it.
I gotta go clean up my cat's barf.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I'm going to fold my pants and keep being sick. Good night, everybody.
Make
Toodles.
sure you take your legs
Bye.
out first.
Anyway, Jocelyn, here's the video we're talking about. Let's get a hot take.
Oh.
Well, I'm sending it through iMessage because
Okay.
that's the app I was in.
Okay, hold on. Why? No, not Facebook Watch. Fuck Facebook Watch.
Is she watching it? I think she's watching it.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. Sticking my dick in rotisserie chickens.
Yeah, I think it happened.
Silent laughter doesn't work on the recording.
I'm sorry.
Damn it. I'm gonna drop the audio in there so people know what we're talking about.